welcome. Really glad to see all of you this evening. My name is Laura Fushi. I'm the Executive Director here at MODA, the Museum of Design Atlanta. And for those of you who are familiar faces and come here regularly, welcome back. And if you've never been here before, really happy to see you as well. I have some thanks to give and want to tell you just a little bit about MODA. And then I'm going to hand it over to our friends from Midtown Alliance who are going to take the next step in this conversation. If you don't know MODA, the thing that you should know about us is that we define design as a creative process that inspires change, transforms lives, and makes the world a better place. We believe that design is the most powerful tool we have for taking on really big 21st century challenges, from climate change to social justice to everything in between, and we all know that they're all related. The exhibition that we have up right now, which you may have had a moment to look at, is called Full Circle, Design Without End, and it's about regenerative design. That is, design across many disciplines that aims to restore the ecosystems of our planet that we as humans have disrupted. So everything from how we build a building that makes a positive impact on the earth to how we choose consumer goods that are created with circular design processes, meaning that instead of throwing something away at the end of its use, we find a way to reuse it again and turn it into something else. This exhibition is up until September 25th, so I invite you to come back and see it if you want to, or to take some time this evening. And then we're going to close for a couple of weeks, take everything out, repair the walls, paint, hang a bunch of new stuff, and we're going to reopen with an exhibition called Close to the Edge, the Birth of Hip-Hop Architecture. Ooh, nice. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's cool. Close to the Edge is curated by a guy named Sekou Cook, who is a professor at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. So I invite you to come back and see it as well. We'd love to see you. And we'd love for everybody to get involved in whatever way is right for you here at MODA. Here, tonight though, we are not here really to talk about MODA. We're here to talk about Midtown Alliance's Artist in Residence program. And I'm really happy that we're able to do that here. I want to thank Midtown Alliance, particularly Lauren and Neda, for making this program happen and for not just this program tonight, but the whole Artist in Residence program. And all of their colleagues who I'm sure have supported at every single moment along the way. Thank you, artists, for being in Midtown. I am lucky to live and work here, and your presence has made a difference. It's made Midtown richer, more beautiful, more fun. So, thanks. That's awesome. Thank you, Doug Shipman, our City Council President, for being here and leading the discussion. Thank you to MODA's tech partner, Sobo, who's helping us out with live streaming and recording. If you have tech needs, call Sobo. And especially thanks to the fierce and mighty MODA staff, which includes staff and volunteers who move furniture, hack tech, go on last-minute ice runs, pretty much whatever it takes to make things like this happen. We couldn't do it without the MODA staff. So thank you, everyone.
Good evening. I'm going to pick up the thank yous. Laura, thank you so much. We really value our partnership with MODA. This event is one of a long relationship, and it's really on theme with how I would like to introduce the Heart of the Arts program to you guys. There are a ton of other partners in this room right now, and I'm so tempted to talk about every single person, but that would be a program in itself. So please just let me say, so much of the work that Midtown Alliance does would not be possible with some of the individuals in this room. And we appreciate you guys, and we're happy that you're here. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Heart of the Arts residency program for those that don't know. This is our very first year, and you're here for our culminating celebration. It feels so good to be here together in person. So much of this program was started with a lot of remote phone calls. So we're just glad we can all be here together. This was a one-year studio residency in which Midtown Alliance partnered with private property owners to look at underutilized space on those properties and dedicate it as artist workspace for 1 year. So I really want to acknowledge our program partners who have made this possible. So that first year is the Atlanta History Center, Data Bank, Dewberry Foundation. Jamie, thank you so much for being here. Piedmont Realty and Portman Holdings, and I know I saw Rachel. There she is. Rachel, thanks for being here. And I'm also really thrilled to introduce you to our partners at Emory, who will be joining us for this upcoming 2023-24 residency. So we've loved working with David and Sarah and your colleagues to extend this to the southern end of the district. And I also want to acknowledge Netta Gari. When Midtown Alliance started researching an artist residency program, there was one person at the top of everybody's list we had to talk to. So it was only a matter of time, and the rest is history. Netta has been an incredible asset to us as our program consultant and my official right hand. So thank you. So when we chose the name Midtown Heart of the Arts, we knew it was aspirational. Of course, Midtown Alliance has been using this moniker for years because, of course, we're incredibly proud to have this concentration of arts and culture in our neighborhood. But rather than resting on those laurels, we wanted to use that as a call to action to realize a really ambitious vision, one where the creative process and arts are a part of the daily urban experience. And so, didn't know what that looked like exactly when we started, but we had some really great inspiration in our district to draw on, including a really great history and record of partnership with our private property owners, arts institutions, the city, MARTA, you name it, as well as in our district, an artist residency program that Amtrak started and managed with Cousins Property, just across the street at Promenade, but now at Norfolk Southern. And that program was really excellent. It introduced us to some very civic-minded arts entrepreneurs and helped us realize, with a little bit of creative thinking, there's a lot more space for artists to be a part of our district. And so one such resident, Chantel Ritter, who you guys might know of as the creator of the Lantern Parade, she really said it best. She said, when you make space for artists in your neighborhood, you get art in your neighborhood.
Amen.
Right? And so, I mean, the past year has really been a testament to that. That by creating space for these beautiful human beings to join our community, we've been able to generate more art and arts experiences really than ever before. So we're really proud of that, excited to celebrate with them. But it's a vision we're still articulating and one that we want to do in concert with everyone in this room. And so our hope for this program was that this would really start a platform whereby we would have discussions with artists as members of the community about our shared vision for Midtown. You know, values, challenges, and what we think makes an exceptional place together. It's in that spirit that we come here tonight. And we appreciate you guys for being here, and we hope that this is a dialogue and conversation that you'll continue well after we leave here this evening. But with that, please let me invite our guests of honor up to the stage. George F. Baker III. George is perhaps Atlanta's most uplifting muralist. If you know his signature playful style, you'll recognize his smiling characters and positive messages assemblages all over the city. All right, Lillian Blades. Lillian's mixed media assemblages embody both incredible detail and stunning scale. From a distance, her smooth gradients and patterns pull the viewer in. But it's not until you get closer you notice the complicated mosaic of textures and details that trigger memories and emotions. Dr. Boyan again. Boyana is a trained medical doctor, and her work fuses interdisciplinary art and science to explore the connection between body and technology. Her immersive installations are both expressive and therapeutic. I can tell you from personal experience because I hung out at her studio several times this spring. And finally, Patricia Hernandez.
Yeah.
Patricia is an artist, activist, and a convener. Upon moving into her studio, she wasted zero time hosting community events and curating exhibitions. She truly made sure her space supported the voice and talent of others, especially the Latinx community. So tonight you're going to hear from 4 out of 6 of our artists. Jasmine Nicole Williams and Jamal Barber couldn't join us this evening, but I really hope that you guys will follow his work, or both of their work. Really 2 incredible people. And finally, I'm pleased that City Council President Doug Shipman is joining us this evening. A man who truly needs no introduction. You already know him as the CEO of the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, as well as the CEO of Woodruff Arts Center before joining our city leadership. His personal connection to the Heart of the Arts program, however, was as a Midtown Alliance board member. Recognizing the transformational moment that was the year 2020, Doug really saw an opportunity and helped plant the idea for this program with Midtown Alliance leadership. So with that in mind, I'm going to clear and let us finally hear from the people we're here to hear from. But Doug, I was hoping that perhaps you could start us off with a question to you. What did you have in mind when you proposed that idea? What did you kind of think that would look like?
Sure. So good evening. What a wonderful way to be together with all of these superstars up here on the stage. So I'll be quick. I had been at the Woodruff. I had been in 2019 on a visit to Greenville, South Carolina, and had visited the art studios that are along the development along the river there. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. And I was on the Midtown Alliance board, and so Kevin and I, the head of Midtown Alliance, Kevin Green, have been talking about real estate and how to potentially merge real estate and the arts. But when COVID hit, I called Kevin and I said, look, you have a tremendous opportunity because people are going to have nothing to do except walk around Midtown. They are going to be on the sidewalk. They are going to be on the street. They are not going to be in all the other places that are shut down. What are we going to do for this audience that may never interact with the built environment quite like this again? What about something like Greenville? Could it be pulled off? And I have to give it a tremendous amount of credit to Lauren and Kevin and everybody at Midtown Alliance and Netta, who took a kernel of an idea and turned it into an absolute program in a relatively short amount of time. What I had envisioned was a way in which people at multiple levels could interact with an artist. They could walk by and see a storefront that was not just a painted piece, but there was actually an active, engaging space. Or if they wanted to go in, they could experience it. Or if they actually wanted to meet the real person that was creating, they could do that too. That was the dream. And I think that we can all agree that even in its first year, it has far exceeded that dream. And it's just incredible. And so I wanted us to give Lauren and Netta another round of applause. So, with that said, the inaugural class, and just as a roadmap, we're going to have a conversation. We're not going to do a Q&A just for time, but everybody's gonna stay around for a while, and we're gonna make sure there's enough time that you can have an individual conversation with these incredible people. Because I think that's gonna be the most fun. So here's the opening question for each of you, and I'll start down there on the end with you, George. At what point in your development as an artist did this residency arrive?
Oh man, it arrived at a very interesting point for me, mainly because pretty much all my life, I've been making everything out of my bedroom. Whether it was like, small scale projects on my computer or even large scale projects where I would have to like flip up my bed and be like, all right, well, I guess I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. But it met me at a point to where like a lot of the work I was getting asked to do was increasing in size. And I did not have the capabilities to kind of get the things I wanted to get done in my home. And so, once I saw this program pop up, it was an easy ask for me to kind of apply. And I was, just reaching out, just hoping that they would select me. And as soon as I got the phone call, oh man, oh my God. I was trembling on the phone, talking with you, and like, I was trying to keep my cool, and as soon as I got off, man, I screamed so loud. I was in a co-working space, I was at Switch Yards, everybody thought something was wrong with me. I thought something was right. So, yeah, it came at a very blessed time for me, so that's perfect.
Right. So, same question, Leo, for you. How did this land in your journey as an artist?
I got an opportunity to have a museum show at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Art, which opens in December. So I knew that, I work in two different styles, wall panels, and I've been making hanging art installations. So it's like, I had a studio space, but it wasn't enough to be able to do everything that I want to do, like to plan everything, to cover panels with fabric, with papers. I have a lot of materials and my basement is overflowing. I needed the space to be able to organize everything, to pull it together for my exhibition. So that's what I used it for. And I was really glad to be able to have a space with clean white walls, big windows with the sunlight coming through, and I was able to put all my organizing tools and things in there and put everything in color order, size order, so that I knew exactly what I was going to use it for, and that's what I did.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, how about you? How did this land in your journey?
Well, it was the perfect timing. I have to start with the pandemics. First day of it, I just had an opening at the ACAC, and I had a show at the Met Museum in New York, Museum of Art and Design. So it was a very exhilarating point in my career, and suddenly everything stopped, right? And so we all were confused, what is happening, what's going to happen, we didn't know what this virus was, right? And suddenly it lasted a year and almost 2 years, and I think it hit art industry really hard because we need people to come in and share spaces. And so for me, I just took that time to reinvent my work because I work a lot with technology, which grows so rapidly that you constantly have to be introduced to what is new, which is exciting but sometimes also draining. But I was like, okay, this is a time now where I can maybe make a leap. And actually, thanks to Courtney Hammond, which is a wonderful organizer of art here, I landed a residency in Spain where I was learning about virtual reality. And because my work is interactive, what I could do at my home, I can always on computer make stuff. But then what I need an audience. I need people to come in because work is interactive. So I wanted a place where this can happen. And suddenly it just opened up. And it was really a perfect timing. And you never know, Atlanta is still growing, and we have all these amazing suburbs and parks and walks during the pandemic, which was like, I like nature, but it's too much nature. And suddenly, art studio in Midtown, where all people who come to Midtown, businesses, people who live there, everybody have these different ways, but to look at it by the same idea. We want to be together, we want to be somewhere where things are happening, we want to exchange energy, ideas. It was a new connection. So I'm very grateful, very
You
grateful.
get in his testimonials, right?
I got him.
Tracy, what did it like for you?
Yes, well, I want to piggyback for each of my colleagues in here. It was very unexpected. I mean, I can share the same as they are sharing and testifying, like lack of space, the experience that I've been doing, my mediums lead me to do like cultural organizations and collaborate with other creatives, get advices from other creatives. Because of the lack of space, I couldn't make more art. I couldn't dirty my hands or being messy because I'm a single mom of 2 kids and everything. Y'all know, whoever has kids, y'all know, kids and art, so that's what I'm saying. I'm sharing the same as them. Never thought that I was gonna have this kind of opportunity in the most amazing and most important influential part of Atlanta, which is Midtown. So yeah, I cried after that. So I say, oh my God, it was too good to be true, based on my background and my experiences in life. So I guess it was very important that, again, I share a little bit about what Bojana said in a way of I wanted this space to get the people to know me and share and spread the word that many of us and many artists, especially women, they share my own stories, can get inspired, and I'm very blessed. Thank you so much. It was a blessing.
So a question for the group, and whoever wants to jump in first, go ahead. A couple of you have mentioned Midtown specifically.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant place. It's a place that has history, but it's also very new. It's building every day. It's dense. It's probably the densest spot in Atlanta. How did Midtown as a place influence you here?
Can I say?
Go ahead.
I think, to me personally, influence that is very predominant. I guess the history that Midtown has that is based on minorities, how among minorities and diverse people built what it is now. Is this result where we're sitting, you guys are having these programs. So yeah, it's super related to my life, even though I'm just starting or I'm in the middle or I'm in the process, but I guess this specific part of the city has the same stories as us.
I think for me it was the fact that Midtown is incredibly open to incorporating art into pretty much every single aspect of their lives. It's not just something to where they just want to plaster it on the wall at the end of a project. It's oh, this is just nice wallpaper. It's no, this is a community that's driven on design and intention. And they show that every single time I walk around and take a little trip around town. Everything here is incredibly intentional, and as an artist, that's really all that you can ask for, is for people to kind of be open to your work and also want to incorporate your work at the starting point of the project, which Midtown does.
So for me, it's been inspiring because of the architecture, it's like a blank canvas for the type of art that I want to create. Coming from a small island, working on a panel on the wall and working in a space that would allow the just to play with light and reflection and things, and it is more conducive for the type of art that I want to make. And it just opened my eyes up to the possibilities of what I could do. And just really grateful for the opportunity to be in this space. And have my work hanging in Coda over the escalator.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
So, yeah, I'm excited about the possibilities of where I can take my art.
So I came to Atlanta 20 years ago, and I did not know much about the United States except through the films. So I expected, I don't know, some kind of LA scene or New York, and suddenly there were like trees everywhere and
Yeah.
really beautiful houses, and it reminded me of Smurfland, like that was just my, and it really, Atlanta changed so much in 20 years. And especially, after all of that, and then after pandemics and walks through the bushes and trees, suddenly I had a daily ticket to New York. I honestly did feel that. I love the vibrancy of the city. I love to see people going around. I don't like to read what's happening somewhere. I like to go in there and experience, discover a new place, go around the corner, and suddenly there's a restaurant or something. And I do think that Atlanta's art scene it's good, but it's still relatively small, and it needs to grow. It has the potential to grow, but I don't want to grow somewhere in the outskirts. I really had this dream that for Atlanta, that art should be in the center. And I have to say that when you go to E3, any of us, when you see what those generations been through, how long people lived, what they had to, go through times with no vaccines, no antibiotics. I mean, just kind of meditating on that. And then they left this amazing space that centuries after people come, and they just have the feeling and the emotion, the mind to comprehend that and be so inspired. Is it possible to do that today? And I think we all here saw the little seed that wants to do that, and I felt like I was a part of that seed in this an amazing space in Atlanta. So that's Midtown for me, and I can't wait where it goes.
So I want to pull on that thread, George, for you specifically, because you were in part raised in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
So you probably go back the youngest in Atlanta. Talk a little bit about the city, in your eyes, the city's progression when it comes to arts.
Oh man, so I've been in Atlanta since 2003, pretty much ever since Duck If You Butt came out. That's my very first introduction to the city. Been in love ever since. Really, when I first got here, I was staying all the way out in Stone Mountain, and I was going to Stevenson Middle and High School at the time. And man, we used to have to take trips back and forth from Stevenson downtown because I was on the debate team, and I fell in love with the city in a time where I don't know, I felt like it was in a very interesting time. That was right around 2006, 2007. The spots and the places where things were happening are incredibly different than where they are now. And knowing and kind of seeing how the city was just always in development. And I still even feel like that's how it is today. I feel like that's something that's kind of a part of Atlanta's culture, being the fact that we started off as terminus and and we're always transforming. Even now, there's construction happening all the time, all over the place. I think the city that I fell in love with all the way back then, it wasn't just a city that was set in stone, it was a city that was constantly changing. I think that's the thing that I appreciate the most about being here, is that we get the pleasure of being in a city that is built on waves. you know, it's built on like, okay, well, this spot is bubbling up and now it's about to hit its crest. And we get to be here for that and experience it. And then it crashes and yeah, we're a little somber that we lost something, but we always know that there's something else that's bubbling in a whole other section of the city. And I don't know, like seeing where it is now still blows my mind. Like everything is just transformed. I'm like, when I went to Georgia State, it was 2009, and they used to tell me, do not go past the bridge on Edgewood. And now they tell you, go past the bridge on Edgewood. So, yeah, but I feel like that's the spirit of Atlanta. Like we're always growing, we're always changing, and we're always making something new.
So I would be remiss, as you know, I've worked in history for times in my career. Camille Russell Love is in the room. She has helped build the city through many of those ways in
Yeah.
our systems, but we have to give it up for
Yeah.
all. I believe in Atlanta even when I don't know Atlanta.
Yeah.
My first show was with Camille Love at the Camille Love Gallery back before I came here in '96, and I was in Savannah at SCAD, and
Wow.
I brought my work up, and that was the first time I came to Atlanta.
I love it. So, one of the things about Midtown that you all have touched on in some way, Midtown is a place that is very interesting in that you have technology, you have business, you have several creative industries, you have lots of tourism, you have huge parks, you have nature, right? It's a place with a lot of different kinds of things in a small space. I'd love it if each of you would talk a little bit about, when you think about collaboration, who or what tools do you use for collaboration? Because part of the residency was intended to be about collaboration. So what's collaboration mean in your mind?
To me, it's intentions of sharing the same changes that we want for our community. So I think like just to have the mindset of your values and your goals in life that it shares and it is like, you know, like, how do I say, I'm sorry, my English is really bad. That, you know, like we, it's the same, you know, like it is connected, there you go. It connects us to other individuals, and you know the intention and the things that we want to grow for each other, it grows more, and then we start, you know, grabbing those elements that can make things happen like this, you know. Yeah. Sorry.
What's collaboration?
I think there is probably, now that you ask, like, I start thinking, there's a couple of ways that I love to collaborate. Actually, after my residency in Spain, I thought to collaborate first professionally. So my work, Science of Happiness, which is like a therapeutic interactive installation, I collaborated with my husband and partner, Brian Kidd. He's a musician. So I would come to him and tell him, this is what I want, this kind of sounds, and what he is magic. And also with Pecco Vasentola, which is an artist from Europe, and he's very young and great technology. So it was easier for me to make this transition toward VR with somebody who knows that. And it actually, I have never done that before. And I've sensed the power in community. Like if you have really great people around you, you can build something much more powerful. And it was, I continue to do that. But there's another collaboration that just occurred to me while we were talking, when I mentioned Italy, is yes, you know, they are artistic, but they also had people who support art, patronage. And what we need, if we want art on a large scale, it's a patron, and good patrons. And actually being at Coda, I sense that there is a lot of willingness for people who are in architecture and real estate and business to make the space look much more attractive and lively and interesting, and that we can imagine greater things to be included into these spaces. And I would say that, and if there is a third one, so but that was awesome about residency, because if I had this interactive installation, and people would come and kind of like a gallery setting, but then I had this idea, and I want to thank both Neda and Lauren. I had the idea that I wanted this experience to both be inclusive and exclusive, which means everybody's welcome, but then you can get your time for experience installation and talking to me by yourself. So we had slots for people for like a half an hour, maximum 2 people, and they would come in and they would experience the work in peace just for themselves, and then we would talk. And it is a collaboration. Yeah. Because when we hear what audience say, it just gets new ideas in your mind, and really it's information that further inspires you. And people are so wonderful. If we were just like talking over cocktail, there's no depths of information that ordinary people would share, and then you find how extraordinary everybody is. And so for me, it was all those different levels of collaborating.
Collaboration.
Well, when I think of collaboration in art, I think of like a quilting bee.
Yes.
And being from the Bahamas, I think of Junkin, which is a community fest parade, and everybody, it comes together and create together. And that was my intention, so I created the space, but the workshop we intended to happen, right? That was the plan, to sit around the table and piece together and have conversations like quilting bees are in the South, and like it's like a tradition of creating and being together. I love that, and that's my ideal type of collaboration. And also inviting the people to bring certain aspects. Like I did the East Atlanta Library, is a community project where everybody came together, and we had a quilting bee where everybody created 12 by 12s, and they basically orchestrated everything together. And that's my ideal of like collaborating with people in community. I've done it with schools, done it with different organizations, and that's how I see to be an ideal situation of creating, and me just kind of helping to orchestrate many voices in a community.
Shoot, those are all great answers. But I think, honestly, my favorite type of collaboration is even just things like this. Like, I'm a firm believer in like honoring people. And I feel like even if you get 2 people in the room, like it's not just 2 people in the room, it's a huge amount of ideas and collaborations that can just come from that one interaction. And so for me, especially living in Atlanta, where one person, you pretty much know everybody. It's like the biggest small city like in the world, honestly. I even like to make this joke where it's like, you meet one person, you're like 2 steps away from Keisha Land's bottles. Which is somewhat true, even in this room, so yeah. So I think for me, it's like my favorite form of collaboration is just meeting people and seeing like who they are, and not just meeting people to like network, because for me personally, I don't really believe in networking. I really believe in just making friends. And so, I think for me during this process of being in this residency, I'm just trying to make as many friends as possible, try to get to know as many people as possible. Because I feel like, once you bring all those people to the table to what you're creating, you end up making the best thing.
Fantastic. I would simply just reflect on what's been said and this notion of who the patrons are of the arts. We do have an incredible history of real estate and arts overlapping. John Porter, of course, has an incredible legacy. John Phelan has an incredible legacy. And you've worked on the recent ones in CR, Norfolk Southern, Coda. I mean, it really is incredible. If we thought about, if every single real estate developer thought about themselves as an arts patron and creating space for the arts, I mean, that is a powerful opportunity for Atlanta that I think you all have just showcased what it can be. What piece of advice you would have for the next residents? There's a group coming, there's an application open for a year after that, so we have at least 2 more, hopefully many more, but at least 2 more classes. What would you tell them based on having gone through this experience? Advice for them?
We have a very bold and wide dreams. Like whatever vision you have, take it to the next level.
I will say, kind of the same as Brianna, have like a strong standard of what they want for others and engage to the mission of the program, and also that also the program and the community in Midtown fall in love with each artist's mission and goals, and just be authentic as they could. That, like, please. Yes.
So have a project, have a focus, create a
Yes.
timeline. Don't take on too much that will kind of pull you away from that. And just stick to your plan. You know? Yeah.
Be open. Seriously, like, be open to not only what Midtown has to offer, but even to who you could end up being. Because I can tell you, and we probably could all say the same, like, over this year and change, we've definitely changed, and we've tried out different processes, we've done different types of projects that have expanded us way further than we could ever imagine. Like, shoot, I did a mural that was damn near 90 feet up in the air. Never done anything like that before. But I was happy that I was open to it. And if you're gonna be in this program, you have to be open to transforming and recreating exactly who you are. So.
It definitely pushes you beyond the domestic scale of creating art. So that's a good thing, to be able to have your mind open to where it could go.
Which is a perfect lead into the next question, which is, what's next for each of you? What's on the horizon? How can everybody here continue to follow your ascension? What's right there next?
Who's gonna start? Okay, well, I can start. Well, in a short term, always open to commission, open to collaborating and be part of amazing projects that I always been part. Currently, I am doing for the 4th year my Latin exhibition that is going to be held in Mint Gallery in the West Side, which is showcase the Atlanta local Latin talent that I'm very passionate about to showcase. So we're gonna be for a whole month in there. So the gallery is open, so feel free to come. And we're gonna do our opening next Thursday, September the 15th, which is the first day of Latin Heritage Month. So you're welcome at 6 p.m. And in the long term, well, just keep focus on my short-term goals, just to look long-term.
Tell them your website or IG, where can they literally find it?
my IG, where it's easier to look for me because I have a bunch of links, is patl.sp.
There you go. PATL.S.
Yeah, like Cristianas.
What's next?
Oh my gosh, it's so much.
That's what we like to
Great
hear.
problem, that's a great problem.
It was great. So, during the pandemics, it came up. I was always merging like art and science, but it was very abstract. And then I was thinking, how can I make something that really is not just science, but going back to medical field and take art to be therapeutic. And then I, luckily had time to research and back every element of artistic composition, the color, the rhythm, the sound, materials to have a therapeutic note. And I think right now, this idea is just going to grow. At the moment, I have installation at the Georgia Tech Library, thanks to Bernie, who's a curator there. It's called the Extension of Self. So you can come anytime in the next month and a half. We're going to have a grand opening on 15th of September, so everybody's invited. Something that I'm working with is healthcare rights, sustainability, and the impact of digital technologies to our life. And yes, the main focus is the wonder of it and that art can bring, but being pushed with making a difference, make the ideas for this project expand. I am, as an ex-medical doctor and also as an artist, and I think everybody here, very affected with information that 31 million people in the United States don't have health insurance. Almost 4 million children. That's unacceptable. It's very unacceptable. And we can talk about it, but actually as an artist thinking, what can I do about this? Yes, I can have this installation in the gallery. It's accessible. It's so designed that everybody, no matter of their abilities, can experience it. But how can I take this project to a homeless community or into a school or just expand the idea where people can come, people who don't usually come to the gallery can come in, and then I can share the experience of like, hey, you are an American. I came from Serbia. I always have this, we can call it socialism. I mean, this is like a political matter, but it's really important to have people in the relaxing state when they can experience something that stays with them in a very gentle way, and then push this idea that should not be radical, that you need healthcare, right? You need to choose the materials, even as artists, materials are made sustainable and recyclable. How do we use technology? This is a VR. Are we gonna run away and use it again to be disconnected, or can this be used in some way to make this one a better place? I am very happy that I know lots of wonderful people who support my work, and so I plan to do that.
Where can they find you? What's the easiest way for people to find you?
Oh gosh. I am searching for a marketing person. But I think Instagram is the best. I started recently, like a year ago or so. So Bojana Agin Studio, BOJANA Studio. And I don't post that often, but when I do. Yeah, so, and you can text me or anything, I'm very open.
So what's next?
Okay, the exhibition, the group exhibition, is an installation exhibition of 6 artists at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Art. that opens December 8th or 10th. I will post it on my IG. But it's the installation exhibition called Boundless, and all of the artists are gonna have work that's not on the wall, but either hanging or somewhat and like in the space. So I have a space that's like 20 by 20 and really tall ceilings, and so I'll be engaging the spaces. It'll be the first time I'm using artificial light as opposed to natural light, so I'll be able to control how the experience in the space more. And so that will be up until February 25th. I have another exhibition, a group exhibition I'll be in Mississippi. I don't have the details for that yet, I just found that out. I have several commissions, a private commission for a couple in Connecticut, and that I'm finishing up now, and I have a commission at Morehouse, Sal's Chapel. It's like arch windows that'll have as a collaboration with a historian she wrote a book about civil rights, and those images will be incorporated into it's like a stained glass. So two stained glass windows, so that'll be installed in late February. And I think I'm forgetting something.
Good.
I mean,
Great one.
and just reached out to me. And I have two commissions, two corporate commissions, one in Texas and one in Buckhead. So I'm gonna be busy. And my IG is Lillian Blades on Instagram at Lillian Blades, LILLIANBLADES. And I'm on Facebook, same name, Lillian Blades.
All right, George, what's next?
Let me see. So I am currently wrapping up a project with Patagonia. They're opening up a new store over near Crawl Street Market, right on the Belt Line. So I'm gonna doing all like the window installs for the entire building, which is wild because there's a lot of windows. So I have that going on. I'll be participating in For Warrior, which is a mural festival that happens over in Cabbagetown every year. That'll be taking place next weekend, so please come out. Let me see. I'm also going out to Boulder, Colorado at the end of this month because I got invited to another mural festival out there called Streetwise. So I'll be taking a little bit of Atlanta out there. Yeah, I'll be bringing some lemon pepper wings too. So. And then actually on the 1st of October, there's a new Warby Parker store that's opening up in East Cobb that I actually did all of the inside panels for. So I'll have my work in Warby Parker. Shout out to them. And what else is going on?
Mercedes.
Oh yeah. I'm actually going to be filming a spot with Mercedes-Benz tomorrow. So they want to kind of take me around town and film me riding in a Mercedes. Not a bad time.
You need a stunt double.
Oh man, but yeah, I had those projects coming up, and yeah, just kind of continuing to like do what I love to do, which is just to meet people and make people kind of see themselves in the brilliant way that they are. So
Where do people find you?
oh, the best way to find me on my Instagram is GFB3 for George F. Baker III. There's another way to find me. My website is gfbthree.com. So yeah, it's pretty simple.
As we close, I just want to underline that one of the greatest things about Atlanta is that you can actually know the artists of the art that you commission or buy or interact with. It is a big, small town, I completely agree. And everything we all collectively do to support superstars like the 4 people in front of you makes all of us better. So would you please join me in turning it into what is clearly an incredible contribution to Midtown, to Atlanta, to the life of this incredible community. Thank you.
It's a dream come true for me when that directive trickled down to me from Kevin. I was, working in comms, and I was like, all right, you want me to, I'm just gonna work on an artist residency over here? Okay, so it's been a really amazing opportunity these last couple of years. So, but again, it feels all the better to be here in person with all of you and share this IRL. So thank you again for coming. Please, I'm going to ask a quick request of our artists and our program partners. We've made it through a whole year without good group photos, so please just hang back for a second so we can get some good images. But otherwise, please hang around for a little bit, meet these great people, and ask any questions you have. And thank you so much.
And is there still food and wine?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's still food and wine too, so drink the food and
Yeah.
Drink the food. You're right.